Hello, welcome to We Did a Podcast.
Nailed it.
Here we are.
That's what it is.
It's Frank, it's David. There's some beans right there on that shelf if you can see them.
These guys.
We're all here. The gang's all here, everyone.
As advertised.
Frank, what we doing today?
Today, we're going to be discussing a topic.
Whoa.
Yeah, man.
Revolutionary.
Yeah, dude.
We changed the game.
Strap your butts in, I guess. Strap your butt real tight to the rest of your body because we're going to blow your butt off.
Are pants technically a butt strap thing?
No. Don't think just because you're wearing pants, your butt's not going to get blown off.
Wow.
Make sure you strap that thing down.
Wow.
It's butt blowing time.
Wow.
I could have worded that better. For sure. Today we're going to be talking about our favorite...
And I'm cutting that out. That's going to be in a montage somewhere.
Just like Frank's poorly phrased phrases.
Well, we still need to cut that trailer for the channel. Just saying.
That'll be a fun one. Our trailer is just a blooper reel.
Ooh, I like that idea. Anyways,
it's not a terrible idea. Today we're talking about our favorite video game themes. Not necessarily like the best, objectively.
Ooh, okay.
But like our favorite. At least that's how I wrote my list.
I'm saying they're my favorite, but also I have the best tastes. So they actually are the best.
That feels like something you would say.
Just to, I don't know maybe we did a slightly different list, but I went soundtrack. Not just one track.
I don't know why I went theme song, because I also went soundtrack.
Okay, good.
Yes.
I was like, uh-oh.
I'm really good at wording things incorrectly.
You're the best at it, Frank.
The best around.
Frank, okay, just so we can get this out of the way right now, I'm almost positive I'm going to sing through this podcast. And I'm thinking about how annoying that's going to be for people. I'm just glad you sang first. Not that was annoying. It was on pitch. It was great.
Hey.
Great articulation.
Thank you.
You're welcome. But I'm going to try and reduce the singing, everybody. I'm going to try my hardest, but I apologize in advance if I'm just singing video game theme songs.
He's barely going to try. You're not even going to notice that he put any effort into it. At the end of this video, you're going to be like, did that guy even try? The answer is no, he didn't.
That's way more accurate. Did you want to start this thing off, or did you want me to kick us off
I suppose I'll get us started, man.
Yeah, man.
Because my number 3 is kind of short. I didn't have like a whole lot to say about it.
Okay.
I feel like if you don't already know, then there's something wrong with you. Maybe you're too young. What do you think my number 3 pick is?
Well, just because you said if you don't already know, I was going to guess Rocket League, but...
Oh, no.
Oh, okay, I'm way off.
Like, I mean, Rocket League... has some questionable music, you know what I mean? Some of it gets you super amped, some of it's not so great, Rocket, but some of it's awesome.
Not to interrupt, but while we're on this, I wanted to clarify, and Rocket League I think wouldn't count because...
It's like a revolving playlist.
It's a playlist.
Yeah.
It's a more of a soundtrack where we're talking more about like compositions. At least, I don't know if you picked anything like that, but that's kind of what I was thinking.
Mostly.
Okay, cool. Yeah. I'm excited. All right, what's your first one?
I try not to BS as hard. I had an idea of like just trying to describe like totally just making up like a video game soundtrack and like making up fake facts about it and just laying it all into you and waiting for you to be like, wow, that's really interesting. And me being like, it was all lies, you idiot.
Ooh,
but I decided against that.
That's a good podcast trick. I'm going to look out for that one now.
It'll be so long you won't even see it coming. My number 3 pick is Super Smash Bros. Melee. Very exciting.
Can we high five real quick?
Yeah, let's high five.
Yes. Dude, I also picked Super Smash Bros. Melee.
And I had a feeling you would, but most of the time, if I think you will pick something, I will try to pick something else so we can fit like as many topics into this topic as we can.
And you know what? I'm just going to go on the fly and I'm going to change mine now so we can just both talk about Melee.
Oh my God. Awesome.
Okay, this is perfect.
Yeah, it's too fun. The reason the Melee soundtrack is so amazing is because it is full of classic Nintendo bangers that have been remixed or rearranged.
Yeah.
Everything was recorded by a group that's credited as the Orchestra Melee, which is a pretty awesome name for a group. I love it. Just imagine like people slamming people with a cello or something.
Whoa.
Oh my goodness. Fun stuff. Super Smash Bros. Melee came out in 2001 for GameCube from the fine folks at Nintendo. If you are unfamiliar with Nintendo, you're stupid. These people know how to have fun. That is what these games are all about. They don't have like the most cutting edge graphics. Everything's a little bit cartoony, but that's because Nintendo's a company about fun.
And while you're on that, man, I would say that Melee in particular, if you stack it up to other games from the GameCube, PS2, Xbox era, it looks beautiful.
Oh yeah,
because it's just stylized animated graphics, but everything's so detailed.
Very detailed.
As
Like
opposed
even
to
the textures and everything.
Something like Call of Duty, which looked good at the time, but was trying to go for realism. Ugh, looks gross now.
Like Melee still looks good.
Yeah, Melee looks like a fantastic game.
Fantastic. My personal favorite on the soundtrack would be the theme for, excuse me, quick burp. But
Whoa.
little burp, side burp, fake burp. The trifecta.
You're giving me so many good clips this episode.
My personal favorite on this soundtrack would be the theme for Mute City, which is not exactly my favorite level to play, but that's because of the high stress involved with this level. And that's one of the reasons I like the song that they play on that so much. It's a remix from the theme from F-Zero, F-Zero X to be more exact. And it's just like a hard rock, like not necessarily a ballad, but like a hard rock. It sounds like an anime theme, like the theme to an anime opening.
I can see that.
Like a really brutal anime.
And F-Zero also kind of has like an anime look to it.
It is like, I don't know, it's something about that soundtrack and the way the guitar is constantly soloing and soaring.
Yeah.
And the ground's constantly moving. Everybody's just falling off of the level left and right. It just adds to the stress of that level. And it's so perfect.
F-Zero sounds like 80s rock to me, like driving 80s,
dude,
like
100%.
metal, you know what I mean? But yes.
Yeah, dude, it's good stuff. What's your favorite theme out of the Super Smash Bros. Melee soundtrack?
Well, you know, Melee is almost like a cheating choice, not to accuse you of cheating, because I was also going to pick it, because you get the best of everything. You're like, you want some Legend of Zelda? Bam. You want some Mario? Bam. You got it all.
And that's one of the reasons I picked it, because I wanted to get something old school, but we discussed earlier, we had a lot of trouble like cutting down to 3. And we knew this was going to be an issue. That's why we don't have a bottom 3, because this was like already too much to think about.
Yeah. It is a lot to think about. It's really difficult to like narrow it down. I did a terrible job of narrowing it down, as everyone will soon discover. In Melee, the one that really sticks out to me is the the Fire Emblem music.
Okay.
Which it uses a song called Together We Ride from Fire Emblem, and it's the alternate music on the Hyrule Castle level. Yeah. It's just got this kind of like Spanish flair to it. It's awesome. And at the time, no one knew who Fire Emblem was, pretty much. And I don't want to sound like a super nerd. I knew what it was because when
David,
I was
you
like...
you are a super nerd. I'm looking at the room that we're in right now in your apartment, and
well...
my goodness.
Say what you want to say. When I was like 10, I used to be really into ROM emulators on PC, and I downloaded a ton of old Nintendo games, which is how I learned mostly about that library, because I had one when I was a kid, but I was too little. And I downloaded Fire Emblem. Gaiden is what the ROM was called, but I'm pretty sure it was just Fire Emblem released in Japan. It was in Japanese, but the game didn't require that much like knowledge of the text, and some of it was translated. So anyways, I played this thing and I learned about Fire Emblem. So then when we got Melee and I was like, there's Fire Emblem characters in this? It was really cool. It was the first like big release in the States. And then that music was just like, it got me pumped. Fire Emblem's great. It's a great series.
I'm gonna have to check it out.
Yeah, it's a really good tactical thing. I'm
gonna have to ROM emulator it up.
You should, dude. Well, now they're kind of cracking down on that, but we can talk about that next podcast. The composer of Melee, this is the one thing I had in my notes I wanted to cover. The composer of the main theme. Think about that main theme real quick.
Yes.
Yeah, right? This guy's named Shogo Sakai. And something I've learned kind of in my little bit of research here, most video game developers kind of find that one composer
that they like
and they
to work
with them over and over again. And Sakurai,
it's like rappers and producers.
It's exactly the same thing. That's what I was thinking, because it gives it a flavor.
Yeah.
And you don't want to like betray the style that you have set up.
And especially if you like find a good working relationship with someone, that's a hard thing to find.
Oh yeah. That's definitely, I mean, that's difficult if you're trying to do music project or even something like this, you know what I mean?
Trying to like articulate another medium into music and try to get that like same vibe. That's got to be a crazy thing to have to do. That's so cool.
We should do film score soon. Because I got some stuff on that. But so Shogo Sakai,
Bad Santa again.
He's been working with Sakurai for a long time, and this guy who did the Melee theme and some of the extra Melee music, and he's actually done all the Smash Bros. He was the composer for the original Kirby games.
Wait, so did he do the original Smash Bros?
Yeah, he did Smash 64. He's done all of them.
Wow. So Brawl?
Brawl 2, yeah. Which Brawl's got a great soundtrack.
What about
also.
Ultimate?
I think he is going to do Ultimate, which Ultimate has over like Oh, and I could be wrong, and I'll put some text if I'm wrong. I want to say I read that Ultimate's going to have over 100 hours of music in it.
My goodness, that's a lot of music.
It's just music from all, like, because Ultimate's basically going to be like a testament to Nintendo, like a history of Nintendo. That's what it's shaping up to be. But about this Sakurai thing, he and Sakai worked on Kirby together. He made the music to Kirby, and if you kind of think about it, the Melee theme song is closest to like the Kirby Dreamland theme song. If you put them together, they sound very similar, which I just thought was interesting. It's also interesting that Sakurai made Kirby like a awesome character in every game. You know what I mean? And it's his character. But anyways,
it's really funny to see like an artist use like when you can pick up on an artist style, like that sounds like this dude, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And later on in my list, I had like the same experience. Somebody who I had never heard of before, and I checked it out, and I was like, wow, that sounds just like the soundtrack.
Ooh, I'm excited to hear what you got. I had some of those same feelings on mine. Well, let me hop on over to mine, or did you have anything else about Melee?
That's about it, man. It was short and sweet on Melee. Like I said, I don't have a whole lot to say about it, because it sells itself. If you haven't played Melee yet, find yourself a GameCube on eBay, buy yourself a copy of Melee, ruin some friendships.
Melee's expensive now, man.
Ooh.
I think it's over $100.
Sucks for y'all.
Because it's
the
just
train.
It's been like, it's competitive still. Like, it's huge. George
so
Cici
good.
actually hooked it up with a copy of Melee that I have now, because I got rid of mine when I was younger, when I sold my GameCube. But Melee, we're gonna play Smash Bros after this, and also December, everybody, we're streaming Smash Bros Ultimate. Get ready.
Strap on your butts.
Strap them on. So you know what? I'm gonna have to switch my list around a little bit, and I just want to
Nintendo Switch it.
Yeah.
Not a sponsor, but it'd be super cool if you hit us up.
But they won't. They don't ever sponsor people.
Never happens.
Yeah. I mean, if AVGN, if Angry Video Game Nerd's not sponsored by Nintendo, we're gonna have a tough time.
Angry Video Game Nerd, not a sponsor. Hit us up.
I have a couple, and this is cheating. I just have some runner-ups that I need to mention, but I'm going to like do a quick runner-up and then talk about what my real pick is, because I just couldn't do it, guys.
I struggled with this, and I came over, and as you were telling me about it, I could see like really how much I thought I struggled. You were struggling.
This is the hardest thing I've ever had to do, is like, at least on this channel. Obviously, there are more difficult things in my life, but to try and narrow this down has been really difficult. So, like, the quick runner-up I want to talk about, and it's iconic for our generation, is the original Pokemon soundtrack from '96. It's awesome. It's by Masudi Junichi. I hope I'm probably butchering that. The Pokemon theme song has such a deep texture to it.
Okay.
It sounds so full and orchestrated, and something crazy about the Game Boy is that it's only 4 channels of audio.
Well, it's still 8-bit, right?
Yeah, you have 2, and they're called pulse wave channels. This is where they can write the melody lines, especially like when you go into the battle and it's got that like descending line. And then there's like harmonizing going on, like little tiny chords, which technically can't be a chord because it's only 2 notes, and a chord is 3 notes, everybody, a minimum of 3 notes.
That is purely Man, I've been out of the music game too long.
An
interval.
Sorry, I should have said anything.
Wow.
Then you have another channel that's used for sampling. So we're talking about like Pokemon sound effects.
Yes.
Those little jingles you get. So you have that, which isn't really related to music, but sometimes it kind of does. Then you have a noise channel, which
so you get your rhythm track.
And that's what they use as a rhythm track. So listen to some Pokemon. The one that really sticks out to me is Lavender Town, the Ghost Town.
I was going to say, the Ghost Town is like the best. It is very creepy. It is so good.
And this is super unrelated, but my goal for this year, I'm going to arrange it for orchestra. I'm going to arrange it for 5-part orchestra. It's going to be really good. Anyways, my real pick, though, well, you know what? Let's say that was the real pick. The runner-up that I was going to pick, and I just can't do it, is Last of Us. And the reason why I didn't pick Last of Us is because I think it's arguably like a movie, the score. In the game itself, it's such a cinematic experience, whereas like Pokemon is really serving as this kind of basis. Hate on me if you want. I love Last of Us. It's great. But it does borderline like a cinematic experience, and I think it should be treated more like a film score, which is interesting. The composer, Gustavo Santaolalla? He's a film composer.
Are you sure it's not Santo Ooh La La?
Santa Ooh La La. Oh. He's a film composer. He did the music for Brokeback Mountain.
Okay.
Which, gets a lot of jokes or whatever from, people who are
There's
insecure.
nothing funny about that movie. It's just a movie about 2 cowboys trying to get through. Their horse breaks its back. They have to deal with that situation. You're stuck in the
The
mountains
problem
with
with
a
their
brokeback
wives
horse.
and everything, and like, I don't know. That movie's beautiful. That's
It really is.
That's a really intense movie.
It's a good movie.
Babel, or is it Babel? I haven't seen it. The one with Tom Cruise.
It's Babel.
It's Babel.
Yeah.
Okay, I haven't seen that one.
Like the biblical Tower of Babel.
Yeah. They did the soundtrack to Making a Murder.
Okay.
And also, and this is like a spoiler for Movie Quest, one of my all-time favorite movies, Into the Wild. He did a lot of work on that, which Eddie Vedder did some songs. So I didn't pick
Short
that one.
review coming soon to David and Franken memes.
Yeah, I know, right? I thought that one was a good one, but yeah, Pokemon is just so catchy, and I feel like literally, 70% of our generation could sing you a song from Pokemon.
Oh, easily.
It is. Everyone had it.
Bum 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 bum. No,
That's
wait.
Zelda, I think.
That's Zelda. Yeah. As soon as I got
Okay.
to like the main part of the theme, I was like, "That's a Zelda."
Now we'll put you on the spot real quick. Sing a Pokemon. No, I'm just joking.
Oh, no
What do you got
goodness.
next?
I don't know if I could now that I'm on the spot. My brain's all
No.
discombobulated.
That's not fair. Don't worry. Hey, I didn't even tell you this, but I'm planning on cutting some music underneath of us. Just like
You
little
did
clips
tell
and
me
stuff.
this.
Oh, I did?
Yes.
Yeah. Long day, everyone. Okay.
Our conversations are obviously very important to you.
Oh, and just give me 1 second. Sorry, my stand just keeps falling. If you don't mind, I don't want to make a bunch of noise while
I
we're
don't
trying
mind
to
at
talk
all,
about
David.
something.
I don't mind
And I think I just gotta
at all.
shorten my torque arm here, boy.
There you go. You're shorting that torque, boy.
Okay. Ooh, thank you, or this was gonna drive me nuts. Let's hit it.
All right. So for my number 2 pick, and I have you to thank for this because you brought this into my universe and showed me its existence in the first place. You want to take a quick guess? See what it is? It was on the previous generation of consoles. That's your hint.
Okay, here
And it wasn't exclusive, and I won't tell you which console for.
I'm gonna use my singing. I made a game with zombies in it.
Yes, I made a game with
Yes.
zombies in it.
Oh my gosh, I feel so fulfilled right now.
It
This is
is-
a great feeling.
This soundtrack might not be like the best piece of music ever composed. It's definitely not like groundbreaking in any way technologically or anything. There's nothing like super outstanding about this song except for, well, let's just get into it. Let's get into it here.
Yeah, you gotta explain this thing.
I made a game with zombies in it. It was an indie game that was released on the Xbox 360 marketplace
Yeah.
for $1.
Specifically, it was on this indie store they had
In
for
the
a while.
indie store,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
yes, in the indie marketplace, because it's an indie game
Yeah.
for $1 in 2009 by Ska Studios. 1 to 4 players, top-down, multi-directional shoot 'em up.
Yeah. A twin stick shooter.
Yeah, twin stick shooter. There you go. Very simple. It's got zombies in it. You fight wave after wave of zombies.
Mm-hmm.
These waves increase in intensity while you get through the game. How long is this game, do you ask? It's as long as the song. You're trying to outlast
Yeah.
the song.
I was gonna say, ooh.
The
Sweet
beautiful
train.
thing about this song is it intensifies with the intensity of the waves.
Yes.
So it's it's just descriptive. It describes the game while you're playing it.
Yeah.
It opens with where are my lyrics that I wrote down here?
Oh, great.
It opens with "Welcome to my game. I put zombies in it for your pain." And it also contains lyrics like, "I made this game using XNA," which is the developing software that they used.
Yeah.
It costs $1, and I hope you pay it. Yeah, just $1. Awesome.
Beautiful.
The person singing on the track is the game's developer, who is the founder of Ska Studios. His name is James Silva. So he did all the development on this game.
Yeah.
This was like his pet project. He wrote this ridiculous song.
Ridiculous.
The song is available for download on Ska Studios' website. It was also released by Rock Band Studios, David.
What? It's on Rock Band?
It's on Rock Band. How crazy is that? And when I read it, I was like, okay, that can't mean that it's on Rock Band. That's got to be like another thing. So I had to
Yeah.
like do some double check research. It's on Rock Band.
You know what's really sad? I don't think we can download it.
I don't think we can download it anymore.
Because they shut down the Rocket League, or the Rocket League, the Rock Band store.
Don't ever shut down the Rocket League servers.
No, ever.
I will march.
The thing about I made a game with zombies in it, the game is probably 7 to 13 minutes long. I don't know how long.
If you just played through it
Yeah.
at an average pace, 13
Yeah.
minutes and 39 seconds.
Well, I was going to say, I don't think you can play through it faster, can you? Because it is the length of the song. And
Yeah,
the
it's the
musical
length of the
cues
song.
is what changes the level.
Exactly.
So the game's
You either
length...
die or you beat it.
Yeah, the game is always the same length, 13 minutes. It's just that one level, which might sound kind of cheap, but it's so much fun.
It is an
Yeah.
extremely enjoyable experience,
Yeah.
especially when you consider the amount of money that you had to pay for this
Yeah,
thing.
$1. Yeah.
At a brand new release, $1. How much... I can't think of anything else you can spend $1 on and have that much fun.
I'm so excited you brought this up because I bought so many of those indie games, and there were some gems in that store.
Oh, there's some good indie games
there
in the
was some
Xbox 360 marketplace.
piles of garbage. Sadly,
What are you
though,
going to do?
I don't think you can access that store anymore on the 360. I think they got rid of it. So if you're like really into it, maybe you should try and look it up. Maybe there's some kind of like web download, but
Send James Silva like an email or something. He
Yeah.
seems like a pretty cool dude.
yeah.
He'll just shoot you a download or something.
And just real quick, I think his voice kind of matches like a Billy Corgan Smashing Pumpkins kind of vibe. It's got this graininess and grit to it, which I always thought was kind of funny. But
If you're hearing crying baby sounds, we don't hear them. That's actually a ghost that lives in the apartment. It's only picked up on the recording. I just happen to know this from last time. I can see the spike. I know that crying ghost baby's happening again.
right.
So James Silva, this was like a crazy pet project of him for him. When it was all done, he thought like, oh God, what did I do? Like, what did I spend all this time
is
doing? He thought it
ridiculous.
was going to be a huge flop, even at $1. I made a game with zombies in it. Won best or most popular indie game, and these awards were given by the Xbox Live just based on the connectivity, just the
Yeah.
amount of users using it. It was awarded by IGN and was awarded by Inside Gaming. This was like
cool,
the
man.
best indie game that came out in 2009.
That's so cool. I'm glad that it was successful. I had a lot of
Because it's so
joy
silly,
out of
it's
that
so
game.
fun. Like you showed it to
Yeah.
me, and I was instantly in love.
It's great.
It's like,
It's so
we have to
simple.
beat this thing. It's so hilarious.
It's really good.
By the end of it, like you are just super stressed out trying to kill all these zombies.
Mm-hmm.
You've probably died multiple times, and this guy's just screaming that he made a game with zombies in it. It's hilarious.
I'm down. We should play it again.
If you
after
have an
this.
epileptic friend, don't have them in the room.
Oh yeah,
It's probably not a
got
good
a lot
idea.
of light flashing, but that's some of the cool parts too. When it gets all dark and those faces are.
It's
showing
good
up.
stuff, dude. Good stuff. I made a game with zombies in it.
Play it. If there's a good recommendation for anyone, check that thing out. It's super short.
It's going to be really hard to.
Is
Yeah.
it on Steam? Okay, we're gonna figure some stuff out, everybody. We're gonna figure some stuff out.
You know what? If it is on Steam, we'll figure it out. We'll update you in the description below.
Yeah, and we'll do the shortest broadcast ever. We'll do a 13-minute playthrough.
Hopefully.
Hopefully we don't fail. Okay, let me go on to my next one. And again, this is kind of a cheating thing. I'm just gonna drop 2 game names real quick and then get into the one I really picked.
Drop those game names.
The first one is Metal Gear Solid. It was a runner-up. I couldn't shake it. The original ones they all got great scores, but the original ones got this awesome, like, feels kind of like Mission Impossible. It feels like what it's sort of based on.
And I've heard about those scores before. Like, I've actually heard them referenced.
Mm-hmm.
I've never played a Metal Gear Solid game ever.
I can understand that. I didn't have a PlayStation for most of my life, and then when I got into college, I bought a PS2, and I just went through Metal Gear because it was something I always wanted to play. They're really cool. They're super bizarre. The storyline's crazy. I just thought it was interesting. This guy, Maki Kirioka? Again, apologies. He made the score in 98. He worked with Kojima on Zone of the Enders and made the score for that game too. So I thought that was cool. There's another one of those relationships. Then this one, and this was super difficult for me not to pick, Halo soundtrack, which I know you're not down with the Halo.
I mean, I do like the music to it though,
It's
and
great.
all the internet videos that have come of like boys in locker rooms singing it. That's hilarious.
Which
you
is
know what I mean?
crazy because that thing is essentially Gregorian chant. It's like
And
one of the earliest forms
love
of
me a
music.
good Gregorian chant.
Everyone's
man.
down with it. Everyone loves that thing.
It makes me. I think it was ingrained in me in DuckTales when they do like the Druid episode.
Really?
Yeah, dude.
I don't remember that.
And I always just like the imagery in that episode always like really
Yeah.
stuck with me as a child.
Was it like a bunch of monks walking in one line?
Yeah, they like went to
Yeah.
like I'm pretty sure they were at like Hedgestone. Hedgestone, that's what it's called, right?
Stonehenge.
Stonehenge.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then all the druids were there and stuff. It was super cool.
That's really cool. I'll have to check that out.
DuckTales.
Gregorian chanting, I mean, and I'm sure a lot of people don't know what Gregorian chant is, but it's basically like things you hear monks sing. That's what you're kind of associated with. The important part of it musically is that it is one line. There's not 2 separate parts or 3 separate parts. It's all a group of people singing the exact same line, and it creates
in
that
unison.
That kind of like, I don't know, it creates a certain ambiance. This composer is Martin O'Donnell. The song that really sticks out to me is like the battle theme from Halo. Which I'm really resisting the urge to sing.
You're gonna have to give it to me actually, because I can't picture it in my head right now. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like rocking. Yes, exactly.
I do remember that.
And yes, beautiful. Frank's not a Halo fan, but see, he's got the music. He's got the
music's awesome. Halo sucks.
Oh well, another argument. But
you know what? I played a lot of the campaign with my brothers. I had a good time.
Yeah.
Multiplayer's stupid.
Okay, that's fair enough. I can take
If I'm playing a shooter, I don't want everybody bouncing around like idiots.
Well, yeah, it's like Fortnite too. I don't like that in Fortnite that much.
And the newer Call of Duties.
Yeah, it was better when it was sort of more.
I don't like a floaty shooter.
That's fair. That's definitely fair. But the campaign I played with my brother, and it's a ton of fun. It was a lot of fun back then. There was nothing else like it at the time.
Oh, definitely not.
Yeah, you couldn't play a co-op shooter like that, and the scale.
I think the closest was like Time Splitters.
Yeah, and Time Splitters seems so quaint.
Yeah.
Compared to Halo's
It's funny to
level
like think of
size.
Time Splitters as quaint.
Yeah. Yeah, it's maybe a little bit offensive, but Time Splitters is more or less simple, you know? You just run around. Halo, there's so many things, vehicles.
Get to point A to point B, run back to point A as fast as you can.
And the size of these Halo levels. But anyways, the composer Martin O'Donnell, he described his inspiration for the score as a mix between Samuel Barber, who is this like super intense composer from the classical period, and Samuel Barber's probably the Romantic era. He's not classical for sure. He's too experimental, maybe even further. But
wow, David, I hope the other orchestra teachers come down on you real hard.
We'll see. I doubt it, though. I'm right. And then with a mix with Giorgio Moroder, like the famous synth guy from Europe who like influenced Daft Punk a lot.
Giorgio.
And that's the song I know the most is that one off Random Access Memories.
What a solid album.
Yeah, and if you think about it, you think about the synth and that kind of stuff is in Halo, more in the background. Like kind of spacey sort of things. That's really exciting. Okay, so but for reals though, my number 2 pick, and I'm sorry, Frank, I'm shoehorning all this in here.
Shoehorn it in, David. I'm usually the one shoehorning.
I was telling Michelle, I was like,
it.
This is like multiple paybacks for all the times you've top 4 bottom 2'd me.
And it was funny because I was going to do like something similar today, and I just didn't.
Oh, this is great. So my real number 2 pick, with all those other considerations in mind, is Spelunky from 2008.
Okay.
Spelunky was on Xbox 360, PS3, PC. Now it's on PS4, Xbox One. It's
Possibly
not on
has
Switch.
caused a suicide or two.
Oh, I'm sure. It's a super frustrating game. It's a roguelike 2D platformer adventure game that's 4-player co-op if you want, but that really just makes things more difficult, really.
Yeah.
Although sometimes you need the help or you'll just die. It's very unforgiving. So many one-hit deaths, so many ways to kill yourself. And it goes through a series of levels. You have like these mines, then you have this jungle area.
And the levels randomly generate like every time.
The levels are always different. And you gather equipment that makes your thing, your journey easier. And the music is great though. It's like a lot of bass, a lot of synth. The composer is Eirik Surki from Norway. He describes the score as cute and somber jazz, which I think is
That's a pretty good description.
Great description.
Yeah.
It gives such an identity to all these different
I would even
levels.
toss an eerie in there at times.
Yeah, it definitely has this
when it's
eerie
time
feeling.
to run for the exit.
Yeah, because Spelunky does get a little bit creepy sometimes. Spelunky feels to me like it should have been an NES game. And
for sure.
There was a game called Spelunker, and this is kind of like an inspiration to it. And Spelunker was on NES. But the unforgivable difficulty, and then matched with this score. If the score was in 8-bit, it would still be just as good. But it's recorded with instruments, and it sounds fantastic.
It sounds super good.
Fun fact, fun little podcast connection, though. His first... or not his first, one of his other soundtracks is for a game called Downwell, which is actually the first stream that we had on the channel. And I did it by myself, and it was like a test stream to see how streaming games was.
And it was a free game, right?
It was a free game
it was a free
on PS4,
PlayStation Plus game.
You just constantly drop down a well. Also a ton of fun. But I just thought that was interesting. There's a little connection
Just
there.
goes to show you guys, some indie games, like, oh my goodness. Like, there are some solid indie games out there.
I'm a firm believer that if you're trying to find something original and something fresh, you got to go with an indie game because
for sure.
It costs too much money to make these AAA games, and then they all kind of bleed together. They all sort of feel the same.
Well, it's because, it's that trade-off. Like, you have these people investing all this money. You got to kind of go with what you know people are going to like.
It's the same reason why in movie theaters all we see is superhero movies. Because people aren't going to, like, put a bunch of money behind all these weird indie dramas. And sure, some crack through, but...
I was going to say, some crack through. I saw Tusk in theaters.
Yeah, and I mean, they're definitely smaller movies, but Tusk had, a very huge name behind it. So...
that was a fattest comment, David.
That's hey, he's a lot thinner right now. Well, that's what I got. That's my number 2, man.
Good number 2, David.
Thank you.
I like it. It was a solid number 2.
It was a solid number 2. Girthy.
Not watery at all.
Oh, God.
My number 1 pick is going to be GTA 5.
Ooh, okay.
And I struggled with this for a while. Like, I chose my games, and then I knew I was struggling with the order a little bit. I was like, should GTA 5 be number 1? Like, does one of these other games deserve the spot? But as far as, like, the amount of enjoyment that I personally got out of a soundtrack, this is for sure my number 1.
Yeah.
GTA 5 is a Rockstar game. If you don't know that, you probably don't play games. Released in 2013. The 5th installment of the Grand Theft Auto series.
It's crazy that it's still going so strong online.
Like, I'm constantly getting updates about new events in GTA 5.
Yeah, well, that's the future.
The game is 5 years old.
Yeah, it's insane.
It is. Yeah, it really is insane. It actually has like 3 official soundtracks that got released.
Okay.
The first one being the music of Grand Theft Auto 5, which was released with the initial launch of the game in 2013. Actually consists of 3 volumes that have like the original composed score.
Yeah.
And like selections from the in-game radio,
which is good. The composed score is good.
It is awesome. It is so good. It feels
kind of 80s,
like a crime drama. It feels like an 80s crime drama.
Yeah.
It's so perfect for what the game is.
Yeah.
Then in 2014, they released the cinematographic score GTA 5, which are original composed tracks by Edgar Froese. He's like the main composer on this. Edgar Froese, I'm sure it's pronounced like way throatier and kind of phlegmier because he's a German. He was the founding member of a group called Tangerine Dream, which was like this German ambient synth band. And I was checking out some of the music. It's super dope. Very ambient.
I've heard of these guys.
And when you listen to the music, it sounds like the soundtrack from GTA 5. Like, you can see, like, the director, whoever decided to pick this guy was like, I really like the stuff this guy does. And then you end up with this really, like, chill, synth-heavy soundtrack. Like, and that's what I like about it so much. I'm a synth guy. I love me some synth.
Oh, yeah.
GTA 5 super synth heavy.
Ooh.
Outside of the original, and one more official release, Welcome to Los Santos, which they released with the PC release in 2015. I guess when they released it on PC, they decided that I had to do something more. And just to like give you all the info, this game was released for PS3 and 4, Xbox 360 and 1, and then later on PC. So you have the score composed by this gentleman Edgar, the German Edgar. You have within the game like an in-game radio that consists of known songs from known artists. Just I wanted to get the exact count and then like list the names, but I just ran out of time today of the radio stations. But there's a bunch of different radio stations. They all have a different feel.
Maybe 20,
like
more than 20.
It's like a huge wheel of radio stations.
And then each one has dozens of songs.
So many songs. They're like awesome playlists. Really good songs on there too. And then outside those radio stations, within them, you have 2 different talk show networks, depending on what part of Los Santos you're in. You have West Coast Talk Radio, and then you have Blaine County Radio when you're out in the boonies. Very interesting talk shows on both of those networks. My favorite of which I want to say is almost like the main reason. Like, I love everything else about the score. There's a lot of radio stations that I like spent time listening to in the game. Mm-hmm. Most of my time was spent on West Coast Talk Radio because I was trying to catch Chakra Attack. Chakra Attack is a talk show within the game on West Coast Talk Radio. It is a show where they talk about spirituality, relaxation, the importance of hydration, and duality.
Okay, I feel like I might have heard this when I was playing.
Well, it's hosted by Ray D'Angelo. Yes, Ray D'Angelo Harris, who is voiced by comedic actor JB Smoove, who I am a huge fan of. JB Smoove,
Whoa, okay.
hilarious in Curb Your Enthusiasm. So funny. That whole story arc, so good. I love this guy's delivery. But he's he takes there's callers who calls in. He's talking about chakras. He's talking about all this spiritual stuff, but he's also very easily enraged. He will just scream at people, and you get to experience this character go through some stuff live on air. He's constantly butting heads with his producer Cheryl. Will yell at her about being a horrible hippie lady, and they're just fighting back and forth. You get a bunch of random conversations. His dad even calls him one time. He was left as a baby as a child, and his dad calls in. He's they reconnect, and he's thinks it's this huge awesome moment, and his dad's no, I just called to let you know how much of a huge disappointment you are to me. I'm glad I left you all those years ago. I clearly made the right decision. And then he just bawls for 5 minutes. It's just it's the end of his world.
That's amazing.
I love Chakra Attack.
Wow, I can't believe how in depth GTA is. There's so many details.
And then on top of that, you even have just exploring the city. You hear random conversations and little Easter eggs of just people talking. It's insane. It is so immersive.
Yeah, it really is.
Number one soundtrack in my heart.
That's great. And you know what? Vice City has a great soundtrack.
GTA soundtracks are always on point.
It's always something you look forward to.
Oh, for sure.
I can't wait to see what they got.
They always do that thing where you'll get into a car at the end of a mission, as your character, and the song on the car, the song playing on the radio automatically pertains perfectly to what just happened. It's always so funny.
That's cool. I gotta play through GTA 5 again. I bought it too for PS4. Well, you know this, but I need it.
Get it set up, dude. Yeah. We gotta get the crew back together.
Let's do it before Red Dead comes out. Just a quick note about GTA. I think that's a very legitimate pick, Frank. I was kind of struggling with Burnout 3 soundtrack, but then I was no, I want to go with something composed. But GTA's got both.
It's got it all, man.
And it's on a whole nother level compared to some of these other things Tony Hawk Pro Skater soundtrack or something like that.
And I know we're not just talking about the games, but it's also beautiful. You know what I mean? It's gorgeous.
There's songs that I've discovered because of GTA 5 for sure. That I was oh yeah, this is great. I liked a lot of their they had these electronic stations that weren't EDM, but just kind of smoother electronic music. There's some good stuff in there.
Yeah, some really nice chill stuff.
I can't think of what it was. What the name of the channel was. It's been a long time since I played GTA.
I really regret not getting that all down. And I wanted to do it by getting on and playing GTA 5.
Not fair enough.
But I just didn't find the time in the day to do it.
Gotta find time for GTA. The one thing about GTA is it sets the bar so high that it frustrates me that a game like Fallout 4 has 40 songs. It's how does GTA have 500 songs and you guys got
it's
30?
Crazy the amount of music that's in there. That's why they did 3 different releases.
Meanwhile, I'm playing
one of those
Fallout
releases
4,
4 volumes thick.
I'm just listening to the same tune over and over again. And I was man, Fallout could have such a more immersive experience if it was whoa, this is a new song. What? Maybe that's too much complaining. Maybe that's too much nitpicking. But
that's what we're here for. It's our channel. Do whatever you want.
Oh, thank you.
Nitpick away.
Yeah, Fallout 4. Well, Fallout 5 better get on it. That's all I'm saying.
Get on it.
Get on it. 4 was kind of lacking anyways. All right, Franklin.
What's your number one, David?
What's my number one? So I knew I had to pick something from Koji Kondo, who is the Nintendo composer. And we're talking about some of the greatest video game theme songs ever written, all of Mario, all of Zelda. I almost picked Donkey Kong Country as my choice because it's just so PH fat in particular. It's funky. It matches I don't know, the vibe of Donkey Kong. He's one funky ape, man.
He really is.
He is.
He's not just a regular old ape.
No, he isn't. He's got groove to him. Donkey Kong, the score for that was composed by Robin Beanland. Great name. He's an English composer.
Welcome to the channel, Robert Beanland.
David and Frank and Robert Beanland. This guy, Donkey Kong is a rare, and not rare is you can't find it, but rare is in the company. It's a rare production. And Beanland has been the composer for Rare since the beginning of, since this, all the way up until now. Rare released Sea of Thieves on Xbox One, and Beanland is still the composer. And he's just been on all these things. Conker's Bad Fur Day, Killer Instinct, some of these really known Rare games. So Donkey Kong Country almost had it, but then I was you know what? I have to pay respects to Koji Kondo. And then it became okay, which one do I pick? Because first I was Link to the Past. You got the Dark World theme. You got like the Kakariko Village theme for the first time. So many iconic Zelda themes. Great. And on the Super Nintendo, sounded incredible. Like they were just so vibrant and alive. Then I was like, no, okay, Ocarina of Time, obviously. It's got way more memorable songs. So many songs that like, as a musician, like all the musician friends I have, we all know some Zelda tune on something. It's just like a weird crossover, but that music draws people in.
I work at a unnamed big box music retail store. I am constantly hearing Zelda themes. It doesn't matter what department I'm in.
Yeah.
Well, not drums, obviously, for obvious reasons. But when I'm in guitars, I hear Zelda themes. In the keyboard section all day long. I had like one summer where like kids were coming in the store every day asking if I had ocarinas.
Oh my gosh.
Like by the third day, I was like, oh my God, what is happening right now?
I used to have an ocarina. Yeah, so, but still, I ended up not picking Zelda, which to me seems like a crime.
Guilty.
Then it was going to be Mario Kart 64, which has just some super catchy music that, to me, when I'm working, when I'm just like, doing something around the house, that's what's playing in my head.
Should add it to the playlist.
Anyways, I ended up picking Mario 64, which has the closest like tie to my childhood. I think that's why I picked it. Yes, I played a ton of Zelda. Yes, I played a ton of Ocarina of Time. Mario 64, I know this. I got 117 stars in that game. There was 120 possible stars. And when you got all the stars, you get on the roof to meet Yoshi. I played that game all through my childhood. I bought it brand new. My dad bought it for me at Target, and it came with a little Mario plush. I remember, like, the day we got it, which is crazy because that game came out in 96. That means I was 5 years old.
Wow.
And it's like a very vivid memory of, like, old Target.
13 years. No, wait, hold on. Math. 22 years ago?
22 years ago.
I was like, we're not the same age exactly.
That's a long time. So then I remember playing it so much, all these tunes, all these things coming. I kept that cartridge. Even though I sold my 64, I kept that same cartridge. I still have it today. And then when I was like 23, I got another 64. I popped that cartridge in. I got those last 3 stars.
David.
Finished it off.
I'm so retroactively happy for you right now.
Right?
Like,
it was like,
just sitting on those 3 stars for years.
Bam. I was like, I know what I need to do. I did it. Standout track, because there's so many good ones. The standout track to me is Dire Docks, which is this underwater, sort of like ethereal aquatic song. If you're a Mario fan, usually the water levels have the best music. Even the original Mario on NES. Not the original, but Super Mario Bros. Or Super Mario. I always get it mixed up. The one on NES.
Super Mario Tech School.
I think it's
Plumbing
Super Mario.
Edition.
Is that Super Mario Land? Or is it Super Mario? No, it's Super Mario Bros. I'm sure. Because the other one's Super Mario Bros. too. Anyways. This keeps happening. This is what happens when you want me to talk about video games. Dire Docks, though, on the 64, it starts off with this really like... It's like slow, it's flowing like the water. And then like a minute and a half into the song, this drum part comes in that suddenly launches the whole thing like in a double time. The rest of the music doesn't change, but the drums just like change the groove of the song.
Okay.
And it's so good. And we're talking about synths, man. I'm gonna play this thing while we're exiting out. You're gonna be like, whoa.
Synths.
It's great. Koji Kondo, what would we do without this guy?
If you love synths, let us know in the comment section.
Yeah,
Sorry to hijack your
reals.
segment, David, but let's just chat about synths.
Let's chat
man.
about synths. What's your favorite synth? That would take me. That's a whole nother list.
And it is a whole nother list.
Yeah, that's a whole nother list.
Because you have like decades and decades of synths to choose from. You have emulators that have come out to recreate those sounds of the old classic ones. It's so crazy world.
So
crazy
many
world.
Horror movies, so many video games, so many bands. It's like, oh gosh. Well, man, that wraps up everything I had on mind.
I mean, that's the list. Those are the lists.
That's them. Frank's,
I liked your list, David.
Frank's top 3 and my top like 12 because I was cheating.
How the tables have turned. It's interesting on this side, David. On this side of the BS. I gotta say, it's more fun on the other side for sure, but I was still entertained.
Oh, well, I appreciate it.
It's just fun to watch your face, like, get frustrated with me.
Well... Yeah, and I'm sure it's fun for everyone else, let's be honest. All right, man. Peeps and Perdics time. I'm blocking the camera entirely with that gesture.
Holy gesture.
It was really more of a stretch because my shirt was kind of like in a weird spot. But
I can dig that. Let me get one in.
Didn't that feel nice? Just readjusting that shirt.
And my shoulder popped kind of weird.
Oh,
But that's my problem.
yeah. That's a Frank issue.
I've got faulty parts.
It's Peeps and Perdics time. Sorry, we experienced technical difficulties.
Technically, they were difficult.
I have today.
Oops.
The Coyote from Looney Tunes versus Pusheen. And I don't know who this is from.
Who is Pusheen?
Pusheen is the adorable internet cat. That fat gray one.
The grumpy one?
No, that's Grumpy Cat. Pusheen's the animated, kind of like Japanese art looking one.
Oh, yes. Okay, I know.
Adorable versus the Coyote.
Not looking good for Pusheen in our first predict. Who's going to win in a death match?
Ooh. Well, no, arguably, this is the best person to have a death match against because the Coyote never does anything.
And you know what? It's because the Coyote... don't put your trust in a company that screws you over over and over and over again.
Yeah, this guy needs to learn.
Get off the Acme train. See who else has like giant slingshots. Who else has rockets?
See, that problem would never exist in the Amazon world because you just check the customer reviews and be like, what? All these rockets are going to blow up?
What you got to do, buy your rockets from the CIA like all the terrorist countries do.
Wow. Sorry, that really got me. It's intense. Okay. Man, we should have done a conspiracy theory podcast today.
I mean, but does Pusheen do anything?
Well, Pusheen does anything.
Interesting.
Literally. Because you can look up almost any version of Pusheen. You could look up, how to make a taco, and there'd be Pusheen getting into a little taco shell, putting some cheese on them, and then look, cat taco. And then you'd be like, Pusheen Avengers, and I'm sure there'd be all the Avengers, but they're cats. I guarantee you all these things exist. See, the problem is that the Coyote should just be able to kill the Roadrunner because Coyotes run faster than Roadrunners.
Do they though?
They really do. That's
yeah, but the thing about
true.
a Roadrunner is it has like a plate of bone in its wings. It will straight up stop a bullet.
Whoa, that's cool.
And not that I'm not saying that I once shot at a Roadrunner. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying hypothetically, if I had and I did see that happen, I would have been like, "Whoa, dude, the stories are true."
This is amazing. I don't know what's going on in this episode. This is incredible. Okay, if we're going to be honest and unbiased, though,
beep beep.
Here's the question: does the Coyote's natural advantage of just being carnivorous and able to kill a house cat, does that beat out its stupidity and just downfall after downfall? Because I feel like Coyote's he's never won, and cats are, if anything, pretty smart, arguably smarter than a bird.
Stupid birds.
Stupid dumb bird.
Well, David, I see your point.
Yeah.
I would like to counter that point with the fact that Coyote has been on a losing streak for a long time.
Yeah.
At this point, that Coyote's hungry.
I guess that's
He's
true.
got to be starving. Starving animal, desperate. You don't want to get mixed up with a starving animal. Coyotes in particular, the crackheads of the canine world, man. They are super scary.
That's true.
I don't know if you ever met a coyote. Not cool, man.
No, I can't say I have.
Hearing a coyote off in the distance sounds like a bunch of little girls cackling. Terrifying.
Yeah, that is really good. But my point is that this coyote in particular
Yes. I
doesn't
see that.
have the benefits of a real coyote.
I'm saying at this point, this coyote's desperate, man.
Okay.
And he's got
okay.
He's got those canines. Cat ain't got no canines.
That's true.
He's got that big jaw to
Cat
work
nines.
with. Cat nines, though. That could be a thing. I'm not a cat person. I don't know.
You know what? You've convinced me.
I honestly, I think if in any situation you got these two cartoon animals in a room, I mean, I'm sorry about that cat, but it's not making it out of that room, man.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like the size advantage, everything. Unless you give that cat like a knife.
Pusheen would never use a knife. It's too cute.
I thought you said Pusheen could do anything. What if he was trying to be a sushi chef?
Dress up as anything. Maybe dress up with a little bandana, a little sushi chef coat.
Just this cute little murdered body.
I'm sad now. Okay. Coyote takes it. That dumb coyote. Let me see this predicts jar.
Predicts jar?
Let's see what's going on here. Hoop, 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 hoop.
What's next,
I
David?
tried to put it down softly. Next up on Peeps and Perdics.
AMC's Peeps and Perdics.
Properly assembling a piece of IKEA furniture. It's got to be the cat.
I was gonna say I have to give this one to Pusheen.
It has to be the cat.
For the same arguments we just laid out.
Yeah.
This coyote is dumb.
He's dumb.
Well, interesting, because like all these contraptions, he followed the instructions. Most of the time you see him with the instructions in his hands, he pulls it down. This thing's built. Is Acme a horrible manufacturer, or is the coyote just really bad at putting things together? Is that why it failed every time?
Okay. It has to be the company's fault because Acme isn't only in Roadrunner and the Coyote.
You know what? And their products are always faulty.
Always faulty. When it's Daffy Duck, it's faulty. So that means the Coyote can follow instructions and put something together. Whereas in a Pusheen cartoon, if there was one, and there might already be one, Pusheen would be there with the box.
I bet you there is a Pusheen IKEA.
It would lay on top of like the wood for a little bit, and then it would try and crawl inside the box. Its head stuck in the box. Oh, man.
Yeah, you know what? You get an empty box in a room with a cat. That cat's not getting anything done except playing with that box.
Okay, so I think we can both agree here. Coyote's taking this thing.
Yeah, originally I wanted to come out like strong against him, but I've seen a cat around a box, and that cat ain't getting nothing done.
Well, everyone, you know what time it is.
A cat would just like make somebody else build it for them. That's more cat-like.
Build this cat tower for me. My slave, my human slave. Cats are evil.
Well, for the grand finale, between our standing champ Batman and our new contender Wile E. Coyote, who would win an episode of Fear Factor? I'm going to come out first on this one, David, just because, like, much like the Coyote, I've been on a long losing streak, and I'm getting desperate. I'm starving to be rid of Batman forever. Jesus. Please get rid of Batman!
Are you the Joker or something? I must get rid of Batman!
No, I'm Frank. And frankly, I'm tired of talking about Batman. But I'm never get tired of that pun.
Oh, Franklin.
Batman will be good at all the acrobatic aspects of Fear Factor.
Yes.
Any test of strength, say he would knock it out of the park. If he's got to do some tightrope, I'm sure he'll do like a backflip or something, or a bat flip, because I'm sure he would have to rebrand it, because he's got to rebrand everything. Selfish Bruce Wayne. I think the Coyote would do just as well with that stuff. And that Coyote's going to eat anything. Anything you put in front of that Coyote is going to eat it. Bruce Wayne, millionaire playboy, I don't know. That guy might be a little bit picky.
That's true.
Not used to putting gross stuff in his mouth. Yeah, he's been at the bottom of some holes before. I'm sure he had to eat some nasty stuff. But he wasn't very pleased about it. For the Coyote, it's just lunch.
That's pretty good, Frank, but I mean, there are a few points I don't agree with you on, and here's my counter argument.
Hit me with it.
First off, the Coyote is famously falling off things all the time.
True.
Like, aside from something blowing up, it's like him not looking over a ledge or doing something. Where
the Coyote's downfall was always looking down. You're not supposed to look down. He'd always be like hanging over an edge or something. He'd be fine. But you look down, you fall.
We all know that gravity doesn't work until you look down.
True.
So, scientific fact.
I fall down all the time because I'm always looking at the ground.
Yeah. Oh, almost.
Oh, there I go.
Careful. Here's the other part too. So we have physical challenge. I think it would be unreasonable to say that the Coyote could outdo Batman in a physical challenge. Even if you say the Coyote can do just as many, or maybe like has a high success rate, Batman is going to be on top. He could do almost any physical challenge of Fear Factor.
Okay.
Jumping from one 18-wheeler to another 18-wheeler, easy.
So let's say, hypothetically, on this episode of Fear Factor, you've whittled it down to the last two contestants. You've got Wile E. Coyote. You've got Batman. Final round is going to be one of those immersion things, like where they make people sit in a little case and they cover them in like cockroaches or snakes. Going to be in a stand-up glass case full of bats.
Whoa. Bats.
Who's winning?
Still Batman.
Yeah.
He's not afraid of bats.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, he was in like Batman Begins when he was a little kid.
New scenario. You're in a glass case full of your dead parents.
What if the glass case is full of snarky roadrunners?
Ooh. I'm sure the Batman would be fine.
Batman would be totally okay. Be like, what's going on?
Coyote might kill himself.
Here's the biggest part.
Coyote might actually end up getting a roadrunner at that point.
Batman isn't going to lose to Superman. He's not going to lose to Green Lantern. He's not going to lose to Wonder Woman. He's come up with all these contingency plans to get rid of these people because Batman is the winner above all else. He's not going to lose to Coyote.
I mean, I just try so hard in these, and it's just like, I don't know. For entertainment value, I really should keep trying to debate. But I almost feel like from now on, if I don't think this person has a chance to win, I'm just going to concede to Batman because I hate talking about him. I hate that every episode we do, we end up spending like 5 minutes talking about Batman, who I'm like originally was just not a fan of. Now I am anti-Batman. I dislike Batman so much.
So what's your favorite Batman movie? Tell us in the comments below.
Tell us in the comments below. I will buy a copy and burn it.
You know what? Maybe we need to shake Peeps and Perdics up, or maybe we just need to
kill the Batman.
Part of me likes keeping you just super upset about it. I love it.
I can think of a scenario or who can beat Batman.
Comic book writers.
Somebody please write the death of Batman so I have like material to work with.
Ironically, what you need to do is read a bunch of Batman, and you need to like
I
immerse yourself in Batman.
I have a guy.
And only then
I have a guy. I'm
learn.
just gonna reach out. Just gonna reach out to my comic guy. I'm totally talking about Brandon.
What if I already talked to Brandon? What if I already told Brandon what the scenario was and he thought it was also funny? And what if I told Brandon to never tell you any Batman weakness ever? I
mean, I don't think that's what happened. I also wouldn't be surprised if that has already happened. I would not be that shocked. You guys will meet Brandon at some point. Very knowledgeable in the comic book arena. We'll have to get him in for an episode at some time.
I want to do a Batman episode.
He will annoy you.
I want to do an episode where Brandon comes in and just tells us what are Batman's weaknesses. I want to give you
as much as I don't want to talk about Batman. I'm so down to have that episode. I need something, dude.
Same bat time, same bat channel, everyone.
Someone please save me.
We'll see you next time.
Goodbye.